Is Washington and Pyongyang on the same page in terms of what they mean by talks? Can South Korea play the role of mediator between the two? Jung-hee sheds light on what the regime may want through dialogue and how Seoul plans to communicate with the U.S.
North Korea's delegation to the closing ceremony of the PyeongChang Winter Olympics repeatedly said the North is willing to talk to the U.S., and they laid out no particular preconditions. It's been pretty rare for North Korea to openly and clearly mention a will to talk, but the U.S. is standing firm. Talks can happen only if they're for denuclearization.
North Korea, who, by the way, wants to talk, as of last night, you heard that, they want to talk. And we want to talk also only under the right conditions.
So President Trump has thrown the ball back to Pyongyang. If the regime wants to sit down with the U.S., then Kim Jong-un will have to decide whether he's willing to discuss denuclearization. But experts believe what North Korea means by talks would not be about giving up its nuclear program, but rather a nuclear freeze.
North Korea may be ready to discuss, first, halting its nuclear and missile tests, and then accepting IAEA inspections and stopping its nuclear facilities. I believe North Korea will reject discarding its nuclear weapons by putting forth conditions that are difficult to meet.
But the expert added that this could be enough for the U.S. to see that conditions for dialogue with North Korea are in place, as the regime's test firing of ICBMs has been a tangible threat for the U.S. On Monday, President Moon urged the North to show a will to denuclearize, but at the same time said Washington should lower the threshold for talks with Pyongyang. To create a greater room for dialogue between Washington and Pyongyang, diplomatic sources say Seoul plans to send its top nuclear envoy to Washington as soon as this week. The goal would be to find areas of common interest between the two sides and ultimately enable any types of talks step by step. Jung-hee, Arirang News.